Palawan, the Philippines' last frontier, is an incredible tapestry of diverse cultures, ancient tradition, and breathtaking beauty. In this two-part adventure, we explore the world's most beautiful islands, traveling by land, sea, and air, from its wild mountainous north to its richly historic interior, down to its most secluded paradise islands in the south. This adventure begins with a flight. Governor Pepito Alvarez of Palawan invited me to fly with him in one of his trips back home to discuss a project. A real aviation enthusiast, it was nice to chat with him about the Lear 75.
The Lear has been designed for direct line to 30,000. And it takes me to places like Vietnam, that is 2 hours to Saigon and almost 3 hours to Hanoi. But in between there, if I have 2 typhoons, then, you know, for other aircraft, they might not proceed. But they have to divert.
And it's still like a sports car, no? It's small, fast, and quick.
It didn't take long for us to catch sight of Palawan's beautiful coastline. He discussed with me a project they have been working on together with other ASEAN countries in the region. A tri-modal system of airports, ferries and roads that will bridge Manila, Mindoro, and Palawan to Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia.
Right now, if you drive to Batangas, you can ride the fast ferry, catamaran, only 1 hour from Batangas to Calapan, Mindoro, and you take the road which is concreted already to San Jose. Going south, the San Jose has a Ro-Ro port also that will connect us to the Burak port in Coron.
Passing through the towns and cities of Palawan, it will not only bring in tourists to the province, but also improve infrastructure for the locals.
And from Cochin, we go to the town of Pontianak, which is in the center of the globe. This is the equator.
Just imagine being able to drive from Manila all the way to the equator, while passing through all these places of historic and natural beauty.
This is the confidence-building activities or infrastructure that I have to do in order to keep Palawan best island destination, friendliest destination in the whole world.
At the rate you're telling me, it doesn't look like it's a retirement job.
It will be the ultimate adventure, and one I couldn't wait to do myself. From Manila, I plan to travel to the northern tip of Palawan, down to its southern end, stopping by its cities and municipalities to find hidden gems. While some of the roads and ports are still a work in progress, I decided to trace the route from the air.
They're building a road and ferry network from Manila to Palawan all the way to the equator. But today, I take the helicopter.
We took the Airbus H125, traversing the route a car would normally take if one were to drive to Palawan. The helicopter was fast, and it wasn't long before we reached Batangas.
Well, that was the port of Batangas. So from Manila, you drive all the way south to Batangas, you can take that Ro-Ro ferry and go straight into Mindoro.
The FastCat Ferry offers an easy passage to Mindoro. I got to chat with James, who flies the H125 regularly.
So James, you've been flying AS350, or now the Airbus they call it, and you look very happy flying it.
The aircraft is very agile and very powerful.
I think the speed is not too bad too, huh? Doing 130, 135 is pretty good.
That's the fast cruise of this aircraft.
And cruise, normally your endurance is reduced, or you're still doing 2 hours and 45?
It is increased to about 10 minutes.
10 minutes if you cruise fast. Well, we're in the water, so we're cruising fast. I won't complain to you.
Flying overhead, I could see the good network of roads that will make driving across Mindoro a breeze.
Good roads all the way up to the port. So from here, they take the FastCat all the way to Borac.
The Borac port, now being developed, will be able to link Mindoro to Coron, Palawan. Coron's magnificent landscape began to appear. Steep limestone cliffs guarded sapphire blue lagoons, which the native Tagbanwas consider sacred, said to be inhabited by spirits and sea creatures. We positioned to land in the town of Coron to begin my exploration. Coron was primarily a mining and fishing village. But tourism has now become the top industry. It was nice to see that small businesses are flourishing in the heart of town. John owns a souvenir shop that supports local talent.
So John, you have so many interesting artwork here. Are these all local?
Yes, sir. These are made by local artists from northern southern Palawan.
So how did you come up with tourist souvenirs?
This is my hobby. We ask for support of the other local artists.
Yeah.
Then we saw different talents also. Then we put them here.
Together.
Together.
It was nice to see how the locals support each other in uplifting the community. But Coron does not only attract foreign tourists, as I find out when I visited its most famous ice cream shop.
You don't sound like you're from here.
No, I'm not. I'm a transplant from Manila.
And why did you decide to stay here?
I'm sure you saw the place. How beautiful it is.
Raul thought Coron was the perfect place to retire in. Except for one thing, there was no gelato. So he decided to make his own.
Oh, so I get to try it first?
You have to taste it. Ice cream is a big decision. It's not something you decide right away. I mean, you have to try it first.
I didn't really taste it. Can I try another one? Just joking. I'll go for chocolate. That's my favorite when I was a kid. And do you make them yourself?
Yes, we do make everything here.
What about ingredients?
We import it. Some we get from Manila, some we have to import directly from Italy.
It was a refreshing way to begin exploring more of the place. Coron's main draw, no doubt, is its mystical lagoons and lakes, dominated by towering karst formations dating back millions of years. The land and waters are the ancestral domain of the Tagbanwa, who have protected these sacred places for generations. Despite the influx of tourists, they have kept the lagoons pristine, respecting the spirits that guard the place. Taking advantage of the brackish water stillness, I was introduced to one of the more popular activities being done here: stand-up paddle boarding. Michi Sotto orients me on the basics, which I soon got the hang of. She says it's a total body workout, which is good for me after all that gelato. It was a nice, eco-friendly way of enjoying the tranquil waters of the lagoon and taking in the breathtaking views of this place. Up next, I continue on my adventure across Palawan to discover a place once 100 years in isolation and a group of islands known the world over for its beauty. Still in the northern part of Palawan, I travel early morning by boat to my next stop, once called the Island of No Return, Culion used to be the world's largest leper colony. The island itself bears a scar, the figure of an eagle, warning visitors that they are approaching a quarantine area. I was met by Mayor Virginia de Vera, who introduced me to the Culion of today.
So we have a lot of places to see here. You have island resorts as well. You have waterfalls.
Yes, sir.
Nice beaches.
Yes, we have 8 waterfalls around Culion.
8 waterfalls.
Yeah, yes, sir. And the beaches, the beautiful beaches in Culion, we have a lot.
Well, everybody thinks of Culion as a leper colony. I know it's very nice because I like the history of it. But how is it today?
As of now, Culion is moving for tourism.
I see.
That is my priority.
That is your priority.
Yes, and we're very blessed that we are now free from leprosy.
That's right. I mean, there's a cure for it already.
It was good to know that the people of Culion are moving towards the future. But this does not mean they are eager to escape their past. In fact, the town is like a living museum. Old buildings that serve as reminders of the past are now being restored.
This is the teatro that was restored by the National Historic Commission. In the past, this is where all the patients would meet during Sunday and socialize and talk to each other.
But nothing paints a more vivid picture of the life in the colony than the Culion Museum and Archives. Here, we bear witness to the segregation, pain and suffering of patients, and the compassion and selfless sacrifice of religious and health workers who never left their side. Leprosy is a contagious disease that caused disfiguring skin sores and nerve damage. The disease itself was deadly, the stigma around it even more. Patients from all over the world were torn away from their families and sent to Culion, never to be seen again. Patients married, had children. The babies were swiftly taken away after birth, to be cared for away from their parents. The town was divided by a gate, one side for the clean and one for the unclean. They had their own currency to prevent the disease from spreading through the handling of money. But Culion was not merely a refuge. It was also a well-established research center, supported by many countries in finding a cure. And in the 1980s, they did. Today, each patient's life and memory is honored here, contributing greatly to the finding of a cure and the ending of a century-old stigma for the town. And because of Culion's isolation for over 100 years, it has preserved its natural beauty for all to enjoy. The island of no return is now a place worth coming back to. From Culion, I hop back on the H125 to fly to our next destination, the island paradise of El Nido. We circled over islands with pristine white beaches before reaching our landing site, the port of San Fernando, now being developed for the ferry network. I was welcomed by my cousin Jong, who has made Palawan his home for the last few years.
So this will be filled up and be the port.
That way, the port will be here, yeah. From Coron, our route will be from Mindoro, Coron, then here.
El Nido is known for its magnificent white sand islands. But now, many of its mainland beaches, like Nakpan Beach, is getting a share of the spotlight. While here, I stayed at the tranquil shores of El Nido Cove. Its airy spaces invite the outside in, allowing you to fully experience El Nido's calm scenery. Entering their spacious rooms, bathed in natural light, offered such comfort and more. Because what could be better than staying at a beachfront property?
I'm going to like it here.
El Nido Cove offers unobstructed views of the bay, while still letting you have your privacy and quiet time. And when you're ready to go off and explore, it is the perfect jump-off point to the islands. Jong and I took a speedboat and headed off to Buckwheat Bay. Jagged limestone formations mesmerize from any angle. These walls house swiftlets whose nests are prized in Chinese cuisine, earning the town its name. We entered lagoons with crystalline waters and secret passageways that are a joy to discover. It was like unlocking a treasure chest, not knowing the beauty you will find inside. We also found secret beaches. Jong and I decided to visit one.
Jong, this is one thing I like here in El Nido. You can have your own spot and feel like you own the place, huh?
Having the island to ourselves, it really felt like being let in on a secret. El Nido is truly filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Up next, I continue to explore northern Palawan, finding unexpected places of historic and ecological significance. While most travelers stop in their tracks in El Nido, there are many towns worth seeing while going southward. The historic town of Taytay was once a great kingdom before Spanish times. Chronicles say that the king and queen of Taytay were held hostage by Magellan's crew after his death at the Battle of Mactan, as they demanded for supplies so they can continue their voyage. The king and queen of Taytay gave them what they needed, allowing them to cross to Moluccas and eventually completing the first circumnavigation of the world. As Spain occupied the Philippines, Taytay became the capital of what is now the province of Palawan. The fort of Santa Isabel was built to ward off Moro invaders. Its original stone chapel remains intact until today.
This is the chapel for the fort. It's just undergoing restoration now.
I see. The walls are very thick. Acoustics are very nice. I think even then they sort of thought of how to allow the priest to give the sermon.
Yeah.
And the walls are still very original.
Yeah, and you can also notice the form of the front. It's like a skull with two eyes and there's a mouth there overlooking the sea.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it.
With its eyes open and mouth agape, the chapel's facade looks onto the sea, like a watchful protector for centuries. Taytay is also home to Palawan's largest lake, Lake Mangwao. I took an early morning boat ride with Joie, a biologist who is also Taytay's tourism officer.
What is the lake made of? You said there was, this is basically volcanic.
What happened was Lake Mangwao used to be just a river valley. And then like several hundred thousands of years ago, there was a volcano towards the east of the lake, which erupted, and then effectively the lava flow dammed the river basin, and that's when you have Lake Mangwao.
That's what created the lake.
Lake Mangwao is is said to be one of the most biologically important lakes in the Philippines, holding a number of endemic fish, reptile, and bird species. 7 species of globally threatened birds can be found here, and Joey and I were on the lookout for some of them. The best time to see them is just before sunrise, when the lake is shrouded by mist and mystery. By the water's edge, we saw great and little egrets, looking for food in the shallows.
In the winter season, what you would have is thousands and thousands of egrets when they migrate from Japan, Siberia, going to southern hemisphere.
We also spotted a common kingfisher, which migrated here for the winter. Overhead, the osprey and white-bellied sea eagle waited patiently before swooping down to catch fish.
3 in a row, huh? I think this is one of the highest concentration of white-bellied sea eagles in
this area.
It was so serene, gliding across the water, just hearing the sound of bird calls in the distance. Finally, we catch a rare sighting of the threatened Palawan hornbill perched in one of the trees. It was nice to see this beautiful bird in the wild. Meanwhile, Joey pointed out a flock of another threatened species, the Philippine duck, the only endemic duck species in the country. Only about 5,000 remain in the wild, and it's good to see them thriving here. It was a nice morning, spent navigating the calm waters of Lake Manguao. Teeming with life, definitely one of Palawan's best-kept secrets. Jong and I continued on the road, driving further south.
So Jong, you mean to say that the whole stretch of Palawan now is filled with this kind of highways, huh? The roads are very nice, by the way.
Yeah, that's why they call this the last frontier. It's forest, especially this area. Both sides are really, this is the boundary of 3 municipalities, Taytay, San Vicente, and Rojas. So this is the biggest virgin forest in Palawan, in the north side. As you can see, both sides, big trees.
It was nice to be surrounded by these towering forest trees. But there is one tree that is particularly abundant in the area. What most people may not know is that over 90% of cashew products in the country are grown in Palawan. Originally from Brazil and brought to Asia by the Portuguese, the nut of the cashew is actually its fruit. And Ami shows me how they extract it from its shell. It required precision and steady hands, as the blade was quite sharp.
Okay, finally. So after this, ito...
Aanuhin mo siya, sir, ito, pansungkit.
So may special tool, okay.
Hugutin mo siya.
Wow, oop, naku, patay. They have special tools for all of this. They have this bent screwdriver, and they have this bent knife. And this is really sharp. If you make a mistake, ilang daliri mo? 5 pa rin. Meron bang naputulan na ng daliri? Wala pa.
The shell also contains a chemical compound that can irritate the skin, so they use ash to coat and protect their hands. After the nuts are peeled, they are dried and cooked, and turned into different cashew products. This small cottage industry has given a lucrative livelihood for the people of the town, with the Philippines now ranked 6th in the world in cashew production. Most of it happening here in the town of Rojas. As we continued on our journey, we decided to head for the coast to Palawan's emerging beach destination, San Vicente. But before we got our toes wet, we dropped by the newly opened San Vicente Airport.
Jong, the last time I was here was when I'm just flying over it. And it was not yet complete, so I'm surprised everything is looking good. You even have a terminal.
Yeah, it's ready for commercial rides.
Ready for commercial operation. Well, it's interesting that development is happening very fast. And good terminal as well, huh?
Yeah.
San Vicente is really being primed to be a premier beach destination. And Jong shows me just why. It's 14.7 kilometers of beachfront, roughly 3 times the length of Boracay's White Beach. Perfect for a long, leisurely stroll. Its surrounding islets are also quite unexplored, with plenty to see even underwater. As the sand and the sea were bathed in golden light, it was the perfect end to my exploration of Palawan's northern side. In the next part of my adventure, I crossed to the heart of Palawan, Puerto Princesa, before heading further south, passing through towns of ancient heritage, meeting colorful characters, before stepping into an unexplored paradise.
This has been your captain, Joie Roa. See you in the next Asian Air Safari.